Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session on Solution Manager End of Life. Time to change your perspective from REALTECH. And today we're going to discuss the end of Solution Manager maintenance, what happens now, how we experience the situation, a smart alternative to Solution Manager for a replacement. We're going to show you a live demo of our solution called Smart Change. And then we'll show you a brief project plan on how you can transfer over from SAP Charm into Smart Change. My name is David Milano. I'm the CEO of REALTECH here in North America. I've been with REALTECH since 2007. Started as a consultant implementing the software for several US-based clients, and now manage I'm a channel partner reseller of our Smart Change solution here in the US. So today, the Solution Manager end of life, right? Some facts. What is Solution Manager? It's a collection of tools, content, scenarios offered to companies to support the implementation and operation of their enterprise applications by SAP. So what does that mean? Most customers today use some scenarios or many scenarios in Solution Manager to help run their SAP operations, right? They have an SAP committee who uses Solution Manager either for Charm to manage change and request management, or maybe they're using it for monitoring. They're doing early watch alerts through Solution Manager, and they're just using it to help maintain and run the operations of their SAP landscapes. And this has been since 2004. SAP has been saying that Solution Manager is needed. It's a free tool. You have to implement it. Although it's free, you would have to pay for implementation costs. So technically it wasn't free. But now in the summer of 2023, they announced the end of maintenance for SolMan as a whole, right? So any of the scenarios you're using in Solution Manager would go away in 2027. Now, you could extend the maintenance until 2030, and this aligns with the Business Suite information as well for Solution Manager. But basically at the end of 2027, mainstream maintenance for Solution Manager will end, and customers have to decide what to do, where they're going to go. If they're using scenarios in Solution Manager, especially SAP Charm, which we see a lot of customers using, and they put a lot of money into implementing Charm to customize it for their business processes or their change management processes. You have to decide what to do. What are you going to do, right? And most companies we found are unsure on how they should proceed, right? You don't want to go back to STMS and spreadsheets and manual processes. Then that's where REALTECH can really help you seamlessly transform to a new solution, while with migration and also implementation seamlessly to a new product. So what happens now? Basically, so SAP came out with a new product called Cloud ALM. Cloud ALM is a different way of, they want you to use that only for the cloud solutions, which is where most of their applications are going. Although we know ABAP and NetWeaver is going to be around for a considerably long time. They're pushing folks towards the cloud with their new applications such as BTP, along with other applications they're implementing in the cloud. Cloud ALM is really a project management solution. It has a way to do transports, but it's not the same as Charm. It's a total different process. They're not looking to take SAP Charm and put it into Cloud ALM. So it's really not a comprehensive replacement. And a lot of the customers are getting pressure to do cloud and go cloud only. Customers who have introduced Charm have put time, effort, money into implementing this in Solution Manager and now have to look for alternatives. And that's where REALTECH is getting a lot of inquiries on what they should do or how we can help them with moving over from Charm into our solution, which is called Smart Change. And everybody's looking for alternatives now. That's where today's webinar is really important, and we wanted to bring the education out to customers out there, SAP customers, that there are other alternatives such as REALTECH that can help you go to a new solution in weeks, not months. So how's the situation for you? So we have a quick poll, and Elena is going to pop that up and show you what the feedback is from customers that we polled on what they're looking for today. So Elena, do you want to pop that up?
Yes, I will share the questions.
Great. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Elena. The poll looks great, and you can see that most customers are in a situation where they're looking for alternatives now. They're not sure what to do based on SAP's announcement, and this is common that most customers are looking for a new solution. So how do we experience it with customers? What are we hearing? What are we seeing? Right? That basically it's more and more customers are searching for alternatives. They're using other scenarios in Solution Manager, not just Charm, but basically there's within Solution Manager you build up knowledge, internal and external specialists around your Solution Manager. It's complex, it's not flexible, it's costly, right? And now with this announcement, depending on enterprise support, you're going to have to pay more money from 27 to 30 to continue to use it, right? So a lot of customers are really changing their mindset and looking for alternatives. Well, that comes to why we're here today, right? To tell you a little bit about our solution, which is called Smart Change, or a smart alternative to oops, let me go back. A smart alternative to change management without Solution Manager, right? You don't need Solution Manager to use Smart Change. For us, we are an SAP bolt-on, and we install transports into your systems and create a controller. Our only prerequisite is 7.31 or above, and you're able to install the controller system on all the target systems. We have two different components. There's a Smart Change transport management solution, as well as a Smart ITSM tool. So let's say you aren't heavily invested in a ServiceNow, Jira, Microsoft ADO solution, and you needed that ITSM piece on top of the transport management. REALTECH also has that piece that we could offer you, and it runs independently as an add-on on every system, right? So we also have this ready-to-run migration tool that we can seamlessly migrate your open and closed change requests from Charm over to our Smart Change transport management, so you don't lose any auditing when you're moving from Charm to our tool. So let's say 6 months from now, an auditor comes in and says, hey, here's some changes. We want to see what happened with them, but those changes were halfway done in Charm, and then we migrated them to Smart Change. No worries at all. You're able to go in with a couple clicks, run some reports, get all the information about those changes. So within minutes, the auditor will have exactly what they need, and you won't get dinged for an audit. So we connect either our Smart ITSM tool, or we can connect whatever you're using today. And we'll talk a little bit about that during some further slides. But integration with us to Snow, to ADO, to Jira is a breeze, and it's really configuration, not customization, within our solutions. So let's get to know a little bit about Smart Change. Basically, Smart Change, and I talked a little bit just now about integration, but we have standard web services, REST APIs for connecting to your applications, your ITSM, your monitoring solutions. We have within our tool, development and dashboards are included in our product free of charge. So you're able to with REST APIs, release a transport, approve transport, set attributes, get attributes, get IQ lib data, which is basically very granular reporting at the object level. And then we can integrate into your add-ons. Like I mentioned, we have our own Jira, ServiceNow. There's another Siemens tool out there for application cloud management, ALM. But whatever you're using today, if it has REST APIs, we're able to integrate our solution with. And this is just an example of if you're doing a manual process, right? So you have on the one side's ADO, and you're doing management, SAP change management, and everything's starting over there. You're doing your testing, approvals in there, and you're also closing, but it really has no connection into SAP, right? So you may start a change in ADO, but then you have to log into SAP and do development and back and forth, right? So it's error prone, it's time consuming, it's not really transparent. What we can do is really have a bidirectional integration. And with that bidirectional integration, it's like two applications really become one. And you're able to start that change and then create the transport right in ADO, which is linked to SAP. You're able to release it from your ADO system or the ITSM solution that we're integrated with. You can do your approvals right from the ITSM solution, and it pings through SAP into our application. So it's really cross-platform SAP change management with bidirectional integration from RealTech. So doing this with a lot of customers these days, it really makes it easy, seamless. Customers love it because they go into one application, not two. Your business folks could stay in the ITSM side while your technical folks really stay in the SAP side, managing the transports or the changes. This is just a quick snapshot of how we did an integration with ServiceNow. We created a tab down below, and under that transport request tab, you would see a lot more information that's connected to SAP. You'd see your transport numbers, your owners, the short description, even the status of how the transports went into the system. So if it was green, successful return code. If it was yellow or red, obviously if it was yellow, it was a warning. If it was red, there was errors when it went into the system. You could even drill down and see more information about who approved it, who did what, request data, who approved it, as well as specific return codes. So just a quick snapshot of our integration with ServiceNow. And now I talked a little bit about it, but the technical move machine, which is called Smart Change Transport Management, it has flexible automatically generated workflows. Of course, we take your process that you're doing today, build it inside of our tool, which is literally days, not weeks. And within those workflows, we send emails at the appropriate time. So we send emails on the approval step as well as after the import happens, whether there's an error or it was successful. The developers and the approvers get emails about those requests. We have proactive technical quality checks, right? Critical objects, overtakers, dependencies, return code forecasting, as well as code analysis. So you're able to go in, drill down deeper into the code and say, this object is in these transports, it's been moved this many times, this date and time. Really granular information through our IQ library about objects within the technical move machine. So with that, of course, we also do the imports, right, via our system queue, which is mostly 95% of the time how we import transports into the systems. We have scheduled imports, so you can go set up those batch jobs and it'll push it in at the appropriate time. We have a personal queue. Let's say you have a transport that you don't want to wait for it to go in at the 5 o'clock on a Thursday. You're able to use your personal queue and push it in if you have the right authorizations. And then we always know that customers have emergency transport, so we never stop you from doing transports into your systems. You're able to go in and use our tool to get them in there in an emergency situation. So this is a little bit about our architecture, and you're going to hear me say this during the demo. Transport levels, destinations, projects, right? So a transport level to us is REALTECH terminology on how we group the systems underneath levels. So every client has a development level, a quality assurance, and a production. Destinations to us are analogous to the transport routes, how we actually import the transports into what systems and what clients. And then projects. Projects to us are how we categorize, or I like to say we put them in containers, different containers, such as projects. So you could have an HR project that has 1 approval in the quality and 2 in the production, or you can have a finance project that has 2 approvals, 2 approvals into quality assurance and 2 into production. In saying that, the architecture is based on a REALTECH project and destination, and then the transports move through levels. So they'll move through your quality level first, then your production level, and they need these approvals before they get into those systems. So you'll hear this during the demo, but the architecture is consisted of these 3 main topics: transport levels, destinations, and projects. Just a simple out-of-the-box workflow with 2 approval steps. Maybe the developer releases a transport and then approves it to get into quality, such as a peer review or something like that. It automatically gets imported into that quality system and notifies the tester that they can begin testing that transport into the system. And then after it gets imported into quality, it goes down and sends an email to the management they need to approve. And then once it's approved, they give their approval, it gets automatically imported into production. So very simple workflow. We see a lot of customers doing it this way because they don't have approvals in the quality. They just say the release is the approval from the developer, and it can go right into quality on the next 15-minute job. So not saying this is your process. It's very simple to configure that within our tool. This is just a quick example of 3 approval steps where the developer actually sends it, releases it. It sends an email to the tester, who then approves it to get into quality, begins testing it, make sure it's good, and then it sends an email to management that they need to approve. It sends an email to the tester again that they are approving it, that it was tested successfully. Then it goes to management, they approve, and then it gets automatically imported into the production system. So numerous different workflows can be set up within our tool. It's very flexible, drag and drop. You set it and forget it, and basically when the transports are released or the changes are released from the system, it inherits the project destination, which inherits these workflows on the back end. So talked a little bit about migration, our migration strategy from Charm to our tool. Basically, it's a 3-step process. We would go ahead and implement Smart Change and install our add-on into your systems. We would then use another product of ours, which is the Ready to Run extractor, and we would extract that data from Solution Manager and pull it into Smart Change. And then we would validate and archive the Solution Manager, and then you start using our solution. So a great example is on Friday, we have everything implemented on the Smart Change side. Over the weekend, we do the migration, and then on Monday, you're literally using our product going forward as the new solution. So it's as simple as that. It's really easy. this is just a couple shots of our extractor. Maybe you needed some fields that you want to pull in from Charm into our Smart Change product. What we do is with our ready to run extractor, we pull those fields in as attributes. So you're able to run reports basically on those attributes within Smart Change for auditing, and you don't miss any of the information that was over in Charm that now you're using our solution. So in the attributes section, you'd see we pull in those, let's see, those fields, but we also pull in the transports, right? So we can pull those transports in whether they've been released already, they're sitting in quality, or they've been imported into quality and they're waiting to be imported into production. So within our ready to run extractor, we create two interfaces, one interface that comes from Solution Manager and the other interface that goes to our tool. And it's literally a bidirectional pull where we can pull that data over and then store it in our tool over that weekend, and now you're using our product on Monday. An example of just a quick project plan, literally I mentioned days and weeks, not months. The first week we kick off the project, the second week we do the implementation and your integration, and then and also the migration happens on the second and third week. That can sort of happen after we go live. And then the third week is really testing and go live. So it really is this simple to move from your existing Charm solution over to our Smart Change solution. So you have options, right? A lot of the, especially with that poll, there's I think 60-some% that didn't know and they're looking for options. This is the best solution, the easiest and quickest solution to go from what you're using today over to a new product where your business would see more flexibility, ease of use, ease of administration than what they're doing with the Charm product. So with that, I'm just going to show a quick demonstration of an end-to-end process within Smart Change. And I'm going to start in SE09 and go ahead and release a transport or create a transport and release it. So once I do that, I go in, I create a transport. Once I create the transport, I'm going to see our concept of projects and destinations. This is a demo lab, so I have many, but I'm going to go ahead and select the project basis and then destination of, which is analogous to my transport routes of where the transport's going to go into the quality and production system. I'm going to add that to TM. Once I add it to TM, it's now inherited that workflow steps, any attributes, and it's assigned a project destination combination. I'm going to go ahead and actually just release the task. One thing I want to show quickly is that we have the concept of transport of copies as well. So now that the transport's in a modifiable status, I can go into the dashboard. I can go into the dashboard and create transport of copies with that request. Something's going on. Okay, here we go. So once I'm inside the dashboard, underneath modifiable requests, underneath my development system, once I double click on the client, I will get my request. This is the one I just created today, and I'm able to go ahead and create TOCs for that transport. So just by hitting this button. Okay, see here. I'm going to go ahead and create a transport of copies real quick. Let's say I want to test my objects and make sure that they're good in QA before I release the final transport. Very simple to do that. I say go ahead, it releases that transport of copies, creates and releases that transport of copies, and then puts it in my QA system. So that way I can test it before I actually release that final transport, or have my peer test it before I release that final transport. So it was created. it now goes down to, in my example, I have a technical approval that needs to approve those TOCs, and it's in this level. I would go ahead and approve it. It would drop down to current, and it would be imported into the QA system. So for an example, we have that functionality available for transporter copies. In my case, I'm going to say everything was good. So I'm going to go ahead and release that transport. This is additional information we've done for another client. Maybe they wanted the ticket number, Jira ticket number, ServiceNow ticket number. We're able to capture that information as attributes within our tool. And now I release the transport just like SAP standard takes over. Once it's released, it's then going to go into our dashboard. So my dashboard is still on my EDV system. So my development system is EDV, as well as my controller system, which is connected to all the other systems. One thing I wanted to mention while this is doing this, we don't rip out or replace anything you have today. We basically build on top. So we have our own RFCs and our own user in the system that we build during the installation process. So again, we don't rip out or replace anything you have. If something should happen, you could always use STMS to do transports. We don't see that too often. Once you're using our product, you use our product going forward. But we're waiting for that transport to come into the tool. There it is. So now it goes down to the quality level. And you can see here, these are on the left side, the transport levels I mentioned. So we group systems. In this example, I have a D2, a Q2, D1, Q1, pre-prod, prod, right? Multiple levels. So we can move transports from your dual development landscapes, your D2, Q2, back up through your production support environments with our tool. But so now I'm going to go ahead and make an approval. Once I make that approval inside the tool, which is this transport, it's going to drop down to the current status, and it's waiting to be imported into quality. So once it's imported, now there's a job that could run and import it into the quality system, or you could push it in manually, and that's what I'm going to do just in the interest of time. You set up the job, or you go into what we call the system queue if you have the right authorizations, and you can push this transport into the quality system. Just takes a second. I generate the queue. It's not this one. Sorry about that. Let's go down here. There it is. So in my example, in my destination, I have it going into 2 clients. You can set it up so it goes just into one, but basically pushing the truck now, I'm able to perform the import into my EQA system. And it's running. Once it gets imported, you see the return codes. And now it sends an email. I'll show what that email looks like. This is the email that gets generated from our tool. And you get the information like return code, date and time, who did the transport, if there was any error messages, things like that. So this goes through SAP Office and gets pushed to your Outlook or whatever email client you're using to do email. So the transport has now been imported into quality. The next step is we have what we call a switcher job, which will move it down to the next level. In the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and do that manually, but the switcher job would do that. We call it a switcher. Once I move it down, it's going to go down to the production queue level, which is the next level. It's basically sitting here in queue. It's being tested. It's not quite ready for its final approvals for in production or pre-prod yet. But what we're able to do is say, okay, this has been tested successfully. Let's go ahead and I'm a tester now. I'm going to move it down and trigger approvals for pre-prod. In the pre-prod system now, it's waiting for its approvals. I can double click and see more information about the request and get who is next in line for the approvals. And in this case, it's looking for a release manager, change manager to get into pre-prod. But when it goes to production, it's looking for team leads or managers. I double clicked. It's waiting for team leads or managers or release management when it gets down to production. So I'm going to go ahead, right click, make an approval. Again, this is a demo system. With our security, we can set up segregation of duties and control who can do what within the system. It makes the approval, it drops it down to current, and now it's able to, I'm going to push it in via the system queue. It's waiting to be imported into that system. There it is. Again, we set up an automated job based on your timing, whatever you want it to run, to do the imports, and it'll automatically generate the queue and then push it into the system and send the emails. Right now it's being imported. You can see up top here. It's taking a second. All right, just got imported. And it's sent the email that the import has happened into the system. And now it's ready for, it's ready to be pushed, or the switcher would automatically move it from one level to the next to go to get ready for production. Okay, so I'm going to move it down. The switcher job would automatically do this for you, but in the interest of time, push it down. It's now sitting in production queue. It's waiting for testing to happen in pre-production and finalize. Once it happens, now it can be then moved down to signature for its final approvals from the team leads and the release manager. Okay, so I got my email as a team lead. I'm going to go ahead and approve it. Now now it got its approvals. I think I needed 2 there, but I changed the settings. So it dropped down to current. It's waiting for its final approval or final import into production. Okay. And basically it gets imported into production and sends an email. So you could see that we work from top to bottom through those levels, make sure that the approval steps happen in the system, and then the job would run automatically to push it in. This one was shown with obviously no objects, so no collision checks, no critical objects, dependency checking, but that happens on the approval step. And basically you would see that if there was any issues or challenges, you'd see that when that happens at the approval. So that's just sort of a quick demonstration from beginning to end. What I'd like to do now is just go back, cover a couple more slides, and we will finish for today. Let's go back to this. So in a nutshell, replacing Solution Manager doesn't have to be a costly consulting project, right? You can implement our tool, Smart Change. We could do the migration with a ready-to-run extractor. We handle the migration, we handle the integration to your ITSM solution, and then we also handle all the documentation, the validation of all data, go live of the new solution, and archiving Solution Manager. So we're not only a packaged software solution, we have a packaged project that we can bring to your organization to make it really easy for you to transform from your Solution Manager charm over to Smart Change. With that, I'd like to open it up to some questions. to end the session. So.
Okay. We have some questions for you, David. And the first one is, what's about focused build cross landscape distribution? Can our solution replace it?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, no problem. So we have the concept of dependencies where you're able to create dependencies between transports and landscapes, and they will move through the environment together. So yes, we would replace that focus build, let's say, feature or technology that you're using today with our solution.
Okay. The next one is, does the Smart Change tool manage the transporting of changes, documentation, and testing?
Oh yeah, another great question. So yeah, absolutely. So Smart Change, I like to call it the technical transport move machine, right? So with that, you also could have attachments for documentation as well as the testing documentation, and we can link that all together. Let's say you're using HPQC and you want to do an integration to that tool, no problem. We can also integrate to your quality center or any other testing solution. So yes, we could have a seamless solution for moving transports, testing, and documentation through your environments.
Okay. The next one is, does Smart Change link to Azure DevOps?
Oh, it does. And, that's another great one. We're actually in the middle of a project now, and I can show you some slides. We are doing an integration with Azure DevOps today for another client. This is sort of how the architecture would work, but up top here, let's go through the workflow steps. Where is it? This might be the technical document. But basically, yeah, no problem. We have done this before. You can see from the slides. If you need more information, we can show you that as well. No problem.
And also a technical one from the next is, does Smart Change do transport of copies?
It does. And I covered that during the presentation, but in a nutshell, here in our dashboard, we're able to manage transports of copies. So if it's a modifiable request, it would show up in our dashboard, and you can just do TOCs as many as you want right inside the dashboard, and then release the final transport to go to production when you're ready.
Okay. Can Smart Change be implemented in S/4HANA and public cloud landscape?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So we are a bolt-on inside of SAP. So wherever your SAP system lives, really doesn't matter to us. We would just install our solution inside of SAP via some transports, and it doesn't matter where your physical architecture of your S4 is. And we are certified for many years now with S4HANA. So we're good to go.
The next one is, can Smart Change be used for transporting cloud objects, for example, application implemented in BTP platform?
Today, I'd like to tell you what we can do and what we can't do. Today, that is on our roadmap, and we're looking to have something for BTP by the end of 2024. So working on it, it's coming, and we'll be ready to be aligned with SAP's methodology by the end of the year.
Okay, the second last is, would it be possible to go to SOST to show the emails getting generated and sent?
Sure, no problem. So I showed what the email looked like during the demo, but basically, if I go to SOST, I can see that these are the import information emails that get pushed out. I'm not sure I can actually open up what it looks like. Yeah, see, it doesn't show what it looks like. But during the demo, if you just go back a little bit on the recording, you would see exactly what an email looks like.
Okay, And the last question is, do we have to log into SAP System Controller to approve, or is there a possibility to approve via link in email or over company certified smartphones?
Yeah, perfect. No problem. So on the Play Store for Android and also the App Store, we have an app that we can use to do approvals called the Smart Change Approval app. This is sort of what the front screen looks like. And then it's based off of our application in Azure. So we'd have to work together to get it through your network to be able to approve. But yeah, no problem. We have an application or an app that basically you could log into and make approvals through your phone or through the app that will connect to our backend application in SAP.
Okay, so far this have been all the questions from our side.
Great. So some call to action steps, right? Next steps, we could do a discovery call. We have a 3-tier proof of value, proof of concept, where you can try it on your systems, and as well as the pricing model. So there's links in all these buttons here. You'll get the slides, and you'll be able to. You could even go to realtech.com, realtech-us.com for more information about our solutions, as well as sign up for a discovery call. We'd love to hear how you're doing this process, how you're thinking about moving from Solution Manager Charm to other applications. And we feel Smart Change is the best solution, seamless, easy, flexible to use to get you there from what you're doing today to a better solution. And with that, again, my name is David Milano. I'm from RealTech US, and I appreciate your time today. So thank you.